Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to day 5 of the 7 days of Heavy Metal Mass with me, Tony Evans, on your favourite heavy metal podcast, Heavy Metal Tones. Now, we've talked a lot about 2023 in these last few days, and I'm going to now say that this is a purely egotistical thing for me, but I really want to talk about my favourite episode I record. Now, I record a lot because I record over 50 a year. So there's a lot to reach back on, but when I get my notebooks, and I've got a few of them, now you know me and my lovely notebooks, I like to flick through my notebooks and look at my notes I've made, and on the episodes that I have done, I have to say that my favourite episode was not music related. Would you believe? It was actually my True Life Ghost Stories for Halloween, because it's nice. I've talked about them before on other podcasts with other people, and it's really nice to tell people stories that are real to me, and that that people can. I've had feedback saying, "Wow, amazing! I've had experiences, they didn't feel I never got called a liar or a nut job or a crackpot or any of those sort of things, because I couldn't care less even if you did. But I enjoyed doing it because it was. I'm at the point in my podcast, history now, that I feel comfortable doing things that I want to do. When you're early on in a podcast, those are going to start out, listening to this, think I might do this, I might do what Tone's doing. You've got to think about your audience first off, right? So you've got to think about what they want to listen to, and sometimes to get ratings and to get people listening, you will do the easy targets, the Iron Maidens, the Judas Priests, the, whatever you know is gonna grab the listeners, but you get comfortable at a point where you can say, like, this is me. Like, that's why I do prog episodes. I mean, they don't always hit the mark with listener numbers, but I really bloody enjoy doing it. Like, and I've got a few up my sleeve for next year, but the ghost story ones was one of my faves, because I got to tell stories that I don't always tell, and true things that have happened to me. Will happen, my truth, anyways, is what they say, right? Interesting things. Like, I don't know if I've got more that I can tell you, but I said I have got more, but I want to keep those for next Halloween, because I think we might make it an annual thing. I really, really enjoyed. I did enjoy, back in the early days of the podcast, I enjoyed doing the historical ones. Really basically Iron Maiden connected, or there was a Saxon one as well. I really enjoyed those. I did the one about Amelia Earhart as well, with the Marathon album. But I got good feedback on that. That took a lot more effort, because I had to read a lot of information that was typed out, because I couldn't write that information down. It was because when it's historical, you've got to try and be accurate, or as accurate as you think you can. And so I came across a little bit robotic in those episodes. So I'm looking forward to doing that again next year, but with a bit more, probably a bit more laid back, laissez-faire, as they say, on the continent. But yes, no, the Halloween one was my favourite. I really enjoyed those ones. I like the sort of episodes that can create a talking point. Like John said to me over a few drinks recently, that he really enjoyed the lyrical breakdowns. That he doesn't, because he doesn't normally. And I mentioned this in an episode as well. If you rewind and listen to my shows, I talked about an episode about lyric and music. But he really likes the way that. He wouldn't have thought of the lyric in that way until I sort of talked about it. And I think that's the thing, the beauty of music, isn't it? Because you might hear something different that I hear. It might emote you in a different way that it emotes me. And it might grab you in a way that doesn't grab me. And I think that's the mercurial, magical madness of music. For one person's music, that they love the sound of, techno acid house music, and others like the extreme guttural madness of, say, Gore Guts, or Deicide, or something like that. It's quite fascinating how people's tastes are grown. You know, I mean, I think generally it's decade by decade, because you know, myself and my contemporaries grew up in the decades where the guitar was king. And a lot of the people now are growing up in the decades where the computer and synth and you know, all that stuff is king, and so that's what they find musical, right? Good luck to them. I don't dislike. I don't think that anyone's musical taste is any worse than the others. I mean, I won't sit down and be in the same room as a country music song, or I'll try and walk away if there's any heavy duty R&B and you know, modern rap, but you have your right to enjoy it. So, as I said, more of the same next year, I think, but I really enjoyed that episode, and I'm glad that people did. I got really, really good feedback for it, and that for me means a lot. That means people were tuning in not just to hear thoughts on music, but just to hear my thoughts in general, and I find that very heartwarming, and I thank you all for regularly tuning in. I really do. And to be able to do things like this every year, which is not easy. Let me tell you, sitting down and doing an hour episode is much easier than me editing, chopping and changing, come up with ideas, thoughts for just small 10-minute segments. You know, because in a long episode, I can sort of go off the track, as I always do, as you know I do, and then come back to the track and sort of head on the journey that I was on quite comfortably. But this one, but these small ones, once you go off the track, it's very hard to come back on. But you know, anyway, more horror stories from me. I'm actually also thinking of doing some stuff based around some famous poetry as well. That's also and that's also music related. I won't give it away, but I think you might enjoy that as well. Again, something different. Winter and summer, nothing changes too much. It's all about what gets released. And next year, there's going to be some really fascinating releases that I cannot wait to get my teeth into. So they will make some spanking episodes, I think. I'll say spanking again loudly. Spanking episodes. Anyway, that's enough for me. Do go back and listen to my Halloween episode. And if you want to, in fact, I'm really proud of the one the year before, The Devil in Music. I think it might have been the year before or the year before that. We're going for so long now. The Devil in Heavy Metal, that's actually a really cracking episode, because I want to return to that concept again sometime next year. I really enjoyed that one. That was a really, really high rating episode for me, particularly in the African countries. Thank you guys over there. And in India, did very well in India as well. Thank you very much. Anyway, enough for me today. I've rambled on. See you at day 6. Bye for now.